Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Untouchable, a novel by Mulkraj Anand. This novel was published in 1935 and the plot revolves around the argument for eradicating the caste system. The novel tells a day in the life of Bakka, a young sweeper who is an untouchable due to his work of cleaning latrines. The story is set in the North Indian cantonment town Bulasha. Untouchable presents a day in the life of a young Indian sweeper named Bakka. He is the son of Lakka, head of all the Bulla Sahi sweepers. Bakka is intelligent but naive, humble yet vain. Over Bakka's day, various major and minor tragedies occur, causing him to mature and turn his gaze inward. By the end of the novel, Anand makes a compelling case for the end of untouchability because it is inhuman, unjust system of oppression. He uses Bakka and the people populating the young man's world to craft his argument. Bakka's day starts with his father yelling at him to get out of bed and clean the latrines. The relationship between the father and the son is strained in part due to Bakka's obsession with the British, in part because of Bakka's laziness. Bakka ignores his father but eventually gets up to answer the demands of a high caste man that wants to use the bathroom. This man is Charat Singh, a famous hockey player. At first, Singh also yells at Bakka for neglecting his cleaning duties. However, the man has a changeable personality. It isn't long before he instructs Bakka to come to see him later in the day so he can gift the young sweeper with a prized hockey stick. An overjoyed Bakka agrees. High on his good fortune, he quickly finishes his morning shift and hurries home, dying of thirst. Unfortunately, there is no water in the house. His sister Sohini offers to go fill the water bucket. At the well, Sogini must wait behind several other outcasts also queued up. Also waiting for water is Gulabo, mother of one of Bakka's friends and a jealous woman. She hates Sohini and is just barely stopped from striking the young woman. A priest from the temple named Pandit Kali Nath comes along and helps Sohini get water. He instructs her to come to clean the temple later in the day. Sohini agrees and hurries home with the water. Back at home, Lakka faces an illness and instructs Bakka to clean the town square and the temple courtyard instead. Bakka is wise to the willy ways of his father but cannot protest. He takes up his cleaning supplies and goes into town. His sweeping duties usually keep him too busy to go into town, and so he takes advantage of the situation by buying cigarettes and candies. As Bakka eats his candies, a high caste man brushes up against him. The touched man did not see Bakka because the sweeper forgot to give the untouchable's call. The man is furious. His yelling attracts a large crowd that joins in on Bakka's public shaming. A traveling Muslim vendor in a horse and buggy comes along and disperses the crowd. Before the touched man leaves, he slaps Bakka across the face for his impudence and scurries away. A shocked Bakka cries in the streets before gathering his things and hurrying off to the temple. This time he did not forget the untouchables called. At the temple, a service is in full swing. It intrigues Bakka, who eventually musters up the courage to climb up the stairs to the temple door and peer inside. He is only standing there for a few moments before a loud commotion comes from behind him. It is Sohini and Pandit Kali Nath who is accusing Sohini of polluting him. As a crowd gathers around, Bakka pulls his sister away. Crying, she tells him that the priest sexually assaulted her. A furious Bakka tries to go back to confront the priest, but an embarrassed and ashamed Sohini forces him to leave. Bakka sends his sister home, saying he will take over her duties in town for the rest of the day. Distraught over the day's events, Bakka wanders listlessly before going to a set of homes to beg for his family's daily bread. No one is home, so he curls up in front of a house and falls asleep. A sadhu also begging for food comes and wakes him. The owner of the house Bakka slept in front of comes out with food for the sadhu. Seeing Bakka, she screams at him and refuses to give him food. She finally agrees to give him some bread in exchange for him sweeping the area in front of her house. As Bakka sweeps, the woman tells her young son to relieve himself in the gutter, where Bakka is cleaning so he can sweep that up too. A disgusted Bakka throws down the broom and leaves for his house in the outcast colony. Back at home, it's only Laka and Sohini. Rakha, Bakka's younger brother, is still out collecting food. Bakka tells his father that a high caste man slapped him in the streets. Sensing his son's anger, Laka tells him a story about the kindness of a high caste doctor that once saved Bakka's life. Bakka is deeply moved by the story but remains upset. Soon after story time, Rakha comes back with food. A ravenous Bakka starts to eat but then is disgusted by the idea of eating the leftovers of the high caste people. He jumps up and says he is going to the wedding of his friend Ramcharan's sister. At Ramcharan's house, Bakka sees his other friend Chota. The two boys wait for Ramcharan to see them through the thicket of wedding revelers. Ramcharan eventually sees his friends and runs off with them despite his mother's protestations. Alone, Chota and Ramcharan sense something is wrong with their friend. They coax Bakka to tell them what's wrong. Bakka breaks down and tells them about the slap and Sohini's assault. Ramcharan is quite embarrassed by Bakka's tale, but Chota is indignant. He asks Bakka if he wants to take revenge. Bakka does but realizes revenge would be a dangerous and futile endeavor. A melancholy atmosphere falls over the group. Chota attempts to cheer Bakka up by reminding him of the hockey game they will play later in the day. This reminds Bakka that he must go and get his gift from Charan Singh. Bakka goes to Charan Singh's house in the barracks but cannot tell if the man is home. Reluctant to disturb him or the other inhabitants, Bakka settles under a tree to wait. Before long, Singh comes outside. He invites Bakka to drink tea with him and allows the untouchable to handle his items. Singh's disregard for Bakka's supposed polluting presence thrills Bakka's heart. Thus, he is overjoyed when Singh gives him a brand new hockey stick. Ecstatic about this upswing into his terrible day, Bakka goes into the hockey game on fire. He scores the first goal. The goalie of the opposite team is angry over Bakka's success and hits him. This starts an all-out brawl between the two teams that ends with when a high caste player's younger brother gets hurt. Bakka picks up the young boy and rushes him home, only to have the boy's mother accuse him of killing her son. The good mood destroyed, Bakka trudges home, where his father screams at him for being gone all afternoon. He banishes Bakka from home, saying his son must never return. Bakka runs away and takes shelter under a tree far from home. The chief of the local Salvation Army, a British man named Colonel Hudson, comes up to him. He sees Bakka's distress and convinces the speaker to follow him to the church. Flattered by the white man's attention, Bakka agrees, but the colonel's constant hymn singing quickly bores him. Before the two can enter the church, the colonel's wife comes to find him. Disgusted at the sight of her husband with another blackie, she begins to scream and shout. Bakka feels her anger acutely and runs off again. This time, Bakka runs towards town and ends up at the train station. He overhears some people discussing the appearance of Mahatma Gandhi in Bulla Shah. He joins the tide of people rushing to hear the Mahatma speak. Just as Bakka settles in to listen, Gandhi arrives and begins his speech. He talks about the plight of the untouchable and how it is his life's mission to see them emancipated. He ends his speech by beseeching those present to spread this message to ending untouchability. After Mahatma departs, a pair of educated Indian men have a lively discussion about the content of the speech. One man, a lawyer named Bashir, soundly criticizes most of Gandhi's opinions and ideas. The other man, a poet named Sar Shah, defends the Mahatma passionately and convincingly. Much of what they say goes above Bakka's head, so elevated are their vocabulary and ideas. However, he does understand when Sarsha mentions the imminent arrival of the flushing toilet in India, a mission that eradicates the need for humans to handle refuse. This mission could mean the end of untouchability. With this piece of hope, Bakka hurries home to share news of the Mahatma speech with his father, and the novel ends here. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.